Only going that way.
To the right, it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's on. It's on. So the last time the camera actually got cut off, like very early. Unfortunately, but I guess I kind of just waited on it and I simmered on it. I was just surprised by the feedback, but there's definitely more to be said. I think we were getting up to the point where we was talking about the mantos, and I guess that could be the topic for this video, as opposed to let's just say diversity is important. If that was to be something everybody agreed on, I don't necessarily agree on, but let's just say you think it's important for children to see superheroes that look the same color to them, the same gender, whatever. Okay.
I mean, some people ask for that. I mean, I don't know.
Let's just say it's important. But that being said, don't you see it as a disservice to your diverse characters when you basically just try to make them clones of another character?
It's a token.
It's a token. I'll put it to you this way. Peter Parker is Spider-Man, right? Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miles Morales will never be Spider-Man to me. He'll never be.
He's Spider-Man to some people.
He's Spider-Man to some people. He'll never be Spider-Man to me. And I only say that because you can't just putting on that suit. Don't to me that doesn't just make you Spider-Man.
No.
You know, it doesn't just give you. I'm not about to. Or I'll put it to you that way. Let's say you can call yourself Spider-Man, but you're not about to get the same love and respect out of me that Peter Parker got. And it's not Peter Parker didn't get the respect just because he's Spider-Man. It's what he's done as Spider-Man. There's the differences in there. So just throwing somebody in another hero's suit won't make me love them as much as that hero.
As much as y'all try to like blame fans on the internet and call them out and block them.
Yeah.
You know, when they just criticize your heroes.
Slotto Octavius.
Slotto Octavius.
Just throwing them in somebody. So you can't just throw Riri in the Iron Man armor and call her Ironheart and say now I have to love her as much as Iron Man. That's not how that works. The mantle belongs to that person. It belongs to that hero. You can't just give it to somebody else, you know, because I'll put it to you this way. I'm gonna branch off. In Dragon Ball Super, Black will never be Goku.
Hell no.
Just because you took Goku's body and you threw it on, you know, you'll never be Goku no matter how hard you try.
Vegeta told him plain and simple. It's like you're not a Saiyan.
You're not. That's not what you are. You're just imitating, and you don't understand what it means to be that. You didn't live the experience. You didn't live the weight of being Spider-Man fighting the Sinister Six.
Yeah, but these characters, the diverse characters, they're not gonna get that clarity from anybody. They're not gonna just come and tell them, yeah, you're not this. They're not gonna write them that way because that's not the agenda.
Yeah, that's not the agenda. You want them to be that. It's actually kind of insulting. So I'll put it to you this way: as much as I take, I like Spider-Man, you're not making me feel better by saying, oh, well, now here's your Black Spider-Man. No, that's not the point. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's not, you know, that's stupid. I'm like, oh, here's your Asian Hulk. There you go. Yay.
And it's like, how do people just accept this?
That's almost insulting. No, I'm not saying no Black superheroes and no Asian superheroes. That's totally fucking awesome. But, like, you just made the Asian Hulk. Yeah. The Black Spider-Man. The Black Iron Man.
To do it, take for example, Milestone. When they came out and decided to make all their Black characters or whatever,
they made original, unique characters.
Yeah,
they made icons. Original, unique characters that were Black, but they were original, unique characters. They didn't take another character that existed, took out the white element, threw in a Black or Hispanic or gay or whatever thing, and said this is the new better version of that because it's diverse. No, why don't you just make a new fucking character? Like, is what I'm saying. Like, make a new character, give them their own identity, because at that point that character can grow, that character can become something. And a lot of these replacement characters were characters that already existed. The X-23 was already her own thing. Sam Wilson was already the Falcon. What, you didn't make him better by making him Captain America. He was already fine as the Falcon. He could have built his legacy and his mythos as the, you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't make her better by making her Wolverine. She was already X-23. She was already Laura. We already knew and loved her. You know, that's just like
lazy writing.
It's not only is it lazy, but that would be like fucking taking. I'm trying to think of just like the most extreme fucking thing, but like they'll get the point across. That's like taking Shuri and making her the Black Widow.
Why?
She already fucking exists. She doesn't need to be the Black Widow. Like the Black Widow can stay the Black Widow. Of course that won't fucking happen, but you see what I'm saying.
They could make her the new Black Panther. You never know.
Making her the new Black Panther, I probably wouldn't. But then again, I'm not sure how much of a fighter she is.
Yeah, the way they set it up, like, it's the little juice in the flour or something that they eat to get the power. Is that how it works? I thought they had to do like years of training.
No, years of training to be deemed worthy enough to get the flower.
Oh, is that how it goes?
Yeah, it's like a rite of passage type of thing. But even with that extent, I said Black Widow because like she's Russian. You know how we feel about.
They don't do the Russian accent anymore, but yeah, sure.
You know how we feel about Russians in America, but I'm surprised they haven't gone that far with it. But
making a story of like Black Widow changing the votes or something.
Hey, you can do that.
Triple agent.
You can do that. Let her change the. Yeah, you can totally do that. She works for Trump. Black Widow works for Trump. Wow,
that would make controversy.
That would be funny. But yeah, you can't okay. You can't just take Icon, throw him in a blue and red suit with an S on it and call him Superman. He's not Superman. He's Icon dressed as Superman. You see what I'm saying? Like,
no.
You know,
Icon's his own character.
He's his own character. You're not making him better by turning him into another character. Now, that hasn't happened, but I'm saying that's an example. That's like I said, taking the Falcon and making him Captain America. Why does he have to be Captain America? He was already the Falcon.
Even then, like, going back to, like, Superman for a second, like, even, like, after, like, the death of Superman and, like, Steel came out, yeah, he made, like, a Superman-inspired suit, but he wasn't calling himself Superman.
He was calling himself Steel.
He called himself Steel.
Steel. Because you're not Superman.
You're not Superman.
You'll never be Superman. Like, and I know we use Superman as more of an analogy because nobody's replaced Superman, but that's the thing. You're not Super. You can't be because it's not just a suit.
Yeah.
The S means something. It's his family's crest.
Yeah.
It's in it has history and story and legacy behind it. It's not just a suit. And these writers treat these heroes like they're just suits.
Yeah.
Like they're not people inside of them, so they think they could just take the person out the suit and put somebody else in it, and the fans would be like, "Yeah, it's the same thing." It's not the same thing.
And then most of the heroes, they come with years of just story, and they just like throw that away just to like, oh, here you go, here's a new guy, and he's your replacement. You have to love him now.
Yeah, you have to love him, and then they really give you no reason to. Like, okay, does Riri Williams have a villain? Does Kamala Khan have a villain?
Like an actual
Does
villain?
Nadia Penn have a villain? I mean, an arch villain. I'm talking a Loki to his Thor, a Joker to her Batman, a Lex to the Superman. Like somebody who challenged you physically, mentally, somebody who's your equal and your opposite in every way. A genuine villain that will push the hero, change the way they think, change their morals, change the way they operate. Do these characters have villains? They don't.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They don't.
Do these characters have? They don't. I'm not saying they don't fight villains. Yeah, they one-shot a bunch of villains or whatever for the sake of, boom, bam, pop, whatever the fuck, we beat the villain for this issue, yay. But there's nobody getting inside. There's no Mandarin to Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody getting inside like Riri's head on a psychological level and challenging her and her core beliefs. There's no these characters that
there's no actual antagonist to their protagonist.
There isn't, because these characters are the fucking antagonists. I consider these characters the fucking antagonists of their own book. But they write them like super villains.
Even with that, they have no protagonist to challenge them.
Not really. No, they have no protagonists. I feel like we're the protagonists at this point. The comic book readers are the protagonists, and we're trying to defeat these terrible creatures that are infesting the books. They write these characters like they just do whatever the fuck they want. No regard for anything. They don't learn lessons. They don't grow. They just exist.
They just exist.
They just exist.
Just to do like villain of the week type stuff, and there's no no long arcs like where the heroes can grow. There's just none of that.
It's so bad. They literally have to just they just drop these characters in shit. Wasn't Kamala Khan an Avenger in the latest Spider-Man cartoon? You said.
Yeah, for some reason.
She was just like an Avenger. Like, she was just already there. Already, they just drop them in the mythos. Here you go, she's an Avenger. Like, why? Hold on, who the fuck is this? Like,
who is this exactly?
And why is she an Avenger before Spider-Man?
Yeah, and like, okay, yeah, they were like the same age, but at the same time, it's like, why her over him? Because she's more mature? How?
She arrests her friends, and for no fucking reason.
Oh, that's just terrible.
That was bad. And then like, I don't even get. How is she supposed to be Ms. Marvel? She doesn't have the same powers as Carol. What was that?
I don't know. Just probably in the same way as like how like Shazam was favorite superhero was Superman, and just it's not like he called himself Superboy. There already was a Superboy.
Yeah, that's another thing. Not like he called himself. You could take all these fucking characters and just call them something else, and like you could just you should just erase them and stuff.
Now, here comes the question: like when they got the name Miss Marvel, because Carol had the name first. Is that just way just to keep the name because people recognize the name?
Yeah, no, that was exactly when people saw. Okay, here's the thing: when people see Miss Marvel, they'll assume you're talking about Carol, so they pick the book up and they're supposed to get them to read it about this new teeny bopper. But the problem is, her books are uninteresting. And that's another thing. They slap these labels on these characters so you can read them.
Yeah, and they get like a new number one like every 3 months or something.
Yeah, and then they cancel to like 5 issues because nobody reading it. But that's the reason why they do it. Is that they slap these labels on these characters because you don't have any other way to sell them. You have to call these characters you have to give them the mantles because you don't have anything else. Your stories are bland, your characters are boring, and there's nothing there. There's no substance. So you're banking and hoping on somebody else's already established lore and rep to sell your books, but even that doesn't get it for you.
It's like you just go off the name alone.
The name alone.
And that's the problem with the heroes, those new characters. It's just the name, but there's nothing there. It's like a void or something.
You know what? I consider this a problem with Marvel.
An empty sack.
I consider this a problem with Marvel in general, like, cause some of the last big events were just trash, bro. Civil War 2 was complete trash. It was just bad.
It didn't even come close to the first one, and it was Civil War 2 that just made Carol so insufferable.
Insufferable, but not only that. but what made it worse is the follow up to Civil War 2, Secret Empire, was the biggest, most offensive story I've ever read in my life.
The biggest middle finger to fans.
The biggest middle finger, because after all this shit, after a fucking Hydra Cap trapping all the strong heroes out in space and teleporting New York to the dark dimension and making a deal with Genosha to leave him, after all this shit, and then he gets the Castle Cube and then all the heroes come back and then they all challenge him. He just snaps his finger and they all just disappear. There's no build up, there's no fight, there's no nothing. It's over. And then the other Cap shows up. And I'm sorry, I'm spoiling Secret Empire. Nobody who hasn't read it. Then the normal Cap fucking shows up and they get into a fist fight. And regular ass Steve Rogers get in a fist fight with a literal god version of himself for some reason, and they're evenly matched somehow, even though he just literally snapped his fingers and made every other superhero in the universe just disappear. And then they're evenly matched, and then he's like, screw this, I'm gonna try to pick up the hammer. And then Hydra Cap can't pick the hammer up, and then normal Cap picks the hammer up, and the Hydra Cap was like, oh no, I'm not
worthy.
Which, okay, if you want to go to the route to say, because they were trying to come across the premise that he's still Steve Rogers through and through, he's been rewrote to be a part of Hydra, whatever. So he fundamentally believes what he's doing is right.
Yeah.
So I guess if he couldn't pick the hammer up, that would discourage him. But that was so stupid. I mean, there was no brawl, there was no anything. It was boring to read. You know what I'm saying? Not so much that it didn't make sense. It's that it's boring to read. And that's the thing with a lot of stuff. A lot of these things are just uninteresting. You're charging money for uninteresting slop. You're just like scatter painting shit on the comic book pages and just throwing it out. And you don't even care that it's not good.
They don't. They really don't.
You don't, and I know you don't care that it's not good, because if you actually cared that it wasn't good, you would take the criticism to heart. But you don't care that it's not good. You just want your agenda out there. You literally ask me about my feminist agenda.
Oh God! Don't even bring that up. That was a dark day for Mockingbird fans everywhere.
The few that were out there.
Only the few
that were out there.
Mockingbird is not the biggest fan base, but people like her.
Yeah, I never had a problem with it. But I was just like,
Now, see, I'm just waiting for the MCU to just start introducing these characters and just
Oh, so I can stop watching the MCU
and drop the ball.
So
I mean, over the last couple weeks, they've just been saying, "Oh yeah, female-led heroes, female-led movies, diverse characters." This is gonna definitely just keep the ball rolling. Like,
see, you know what? When you do something, how can I say this? When you have a proclivity to do things out of the need of meeting some type of quota, as opposed to invoking the genuine passion that you have inside of you, when you have the tendency just to go off of we need more of this, we need more of that, we need more of that. You're not. There's no quality control, so you're not looking at what you're creating. You're just creating it for the sake of creating it, for the sake of meeting your numbers, for the sake of throwing it out there, as opposed to saying I'm gonna take my time and make a quality product. That's basically Marvel Comics in a whole.
There's no more passion.
There's no more passion. It's like I put it to you this way, like you know, it's like preparing a meal. You could just throw some shit together and I guess if it's edible, that's fine. But sometimes you want a nice cooked, you know what I mean? Like you want a quality meal you can savor and enjoy.
Quality, not quantity. Because I mean, they just keep shoving out their books to the comic
shoving
shops and destroying comic shops. That's the sad part. And this is not quality books.
It's not, and it's overall sad.
It's sad. It really is.
It really is overall sad. Thankfully, DC isn't so in the rut with their own books, like with their comics. They're not that bad. At the DC TV show, that might be a topic for another time. And we're gonna see what season 6, what year 6 is like. Cause this last year for DC TV, dude, I done made a couple of videos. Y'all got to keep these politics out this show, brother. Like, because it's not even so much that you're throwing the politics in the show. It's that you can remove the scene, and it won't change the context of the show at all. It won't change the context of what happened in the episode. It's literally there just to be there. And it's not even like subtle. It is not even clever. Like, I'll put it to you this way. Because people always say, well, you know, there's always been politics in superhero in the comic books. True, but it wasn't overt politics. And it was never outright stating which side it was on. The art or whatever message they were trying to get across, they got it across through characters, through stories, through cleverness. They never overtly said, hey, we're against this, we're for this. They kind of just let you make up your own mind. Yeah. They kind of just told you how they felt about something through their characters, through their story, and they kind of let you come up with your own decision. They weren't beating you over the head with it. You know what I'm saying?
Like indifferent about
it. Was
politics.
It was very indifferent. It was very like nonchalant. The approach we have now in these DC TV shows and these Marvel comic books is that it's literally just to beat it over your head. Yeah. Like, because they can't take it. They're so vehemently upset that their side lost or whatever it is. It's just like they can't, and it shows. It's like it's distracting. Really, it just is like, Jesus Christ. Nobody wants to be preached to, right? Nobody like nobody wants to be preached to, especially for something you don't agree with. So when you take such a firm stance in it, when you plant your feet that firmly, and you disregard all your, like, any criticism, and you put it as, oh, well, this is opposition, this is bigotry, this is against me. It's like, no, we want to enjoy what you're making.
Yeah, no, of course.
You're just making it hard for us to. Because like nobody wants to be preached to. Nobody wants to sit there and be like berated and lectured from your stance of moral superiority because you're the good guy in your mind. It's not that black and white. And the fact that you assume it is very insulting.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing it for years now.
Yeah.
But oh god, it's just terrible how things have gone. It's just gotten worse.
The political discourse has really gotten out of control. But like, Jesus Christ, why are you trying to ruin escapism though? It's called escapism for a reason.
We don't. It's a fictional world. We want to be in the fictional world. We don't want to hear stuff in the real world.
Yeah, and like we really don't want to hear shit in the real world. We don't fucking want to hear fucking Asgardians talk about people's unsolicited opinions on Israel. Whatever the fuck that means. Like, you're like.
Or hell, even what, like the gun issue. The gun issue has been an issue for years, but it's not like it's gotten worse. It's the same conversation we've been having for years. You don't have to keep bringing it up.
Yeah,
it's gonna solve itself, I think.
Especially, well, I mean, fuck, I'm not about to get into gun control, but I would say Arrow did an episode of gun control, not this year, but the year before, I think.
I think it was tasteful.
It was tasteful, right?
Because they showed both sides.
They showed both. It was tasteful. It was just tasteful. It wasn't insulting, and you didn't outright berate somebody for not having the same opinion as you. And that's kind of what the whole course of this is. These people, these writers, is like they really feel like you don't think like me, you're the bad guy. Right?
It's like you said, it's not that black and white.
It's not that black and white. I tell you what, it's black and white. I'm hungry as fuck. We're about to go go get some food. But no, hope you guys enjoy. Outside of that, it's just there's a lot more to say. Probably a lot more will be said. But until then, it's your boy, Sophist, Hell Hydra. Take it easy.